Okay, so our mission today is a deep dive into what's really a defining geopolitical move for Africa this decade. We're talking about the African Union's Continental AI Strategy, which they formally adopted back in July 2024.
Right. And it's really about seizing a massive opportunity. I mean, the projections for AI globally are huge. Something like $15.7 trillion by 2030.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Africa sees that potential, but also, the very real risk of getting sidelined, either caught in the middle of the U.S.-China tech race or just ending up as passive consumers of AI built somewhere else.
So the vision here sounds enormous. It's framed as this diplomatic power move, right? Meant to be people-centric, focused on development, and really closely tied to things like the UN's SDGs and, importantly, Africa's own long-term plan, Agenda 2063. How is this actually different, say, from the usual external aid approaches?
Well, fundamentally, it's about dictating the terms. The AU is trying to position itself as the, let's say, continental quarterback here, to push back against those existing power imbalances. And the core blueprint, the way they plan to avoid just consuming AI made elsewhere, it rests on 5 main focus areas: governance, shared infrastructure, data sovereignty, that's a big one, talent, and dedicated funding.
Okay, let's unpack that governance pillar a bit. The strategy mentions integrating, unique African flavors, specifically cultural values like Ubuntu. But, how exactly does a software policy actually codify a philosophy about community and interconnectedness? That sounds like a massive political and technical challenge, doesn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. And that tension, that challenge is sort of central to the whole strategy. It means trying to build ethical guardrails that prioritize communal benefits and equity, maybe over just pure individual profit. And embedding those principles right into the design phase, not just tacking them on later. This links directly to that really crucial push for what they're calling sovereign AI.
Sovereign AI. Okay. What does that actually look like, on the ground?
So it means things like creating foundational models, algorithms, that are trained primarily on, proprietary African data and cultural contexts. Rather than just tweaking models developed in the West, it demands quickly building up the basics, the infrastructure, the skilled people, really diverse data sets. The goal is AI that genuinely understands Africa's, 2,000 languages, not just defaulting to English-based results. That's basically the roadmap to get out of technological dependency.
That's the theory. Makes sense. But, diplomatic words on paper don't feed people. Where are we actually seeing this strategy, hitting the fields, moving from policy to actual practical action?
Agriculture. That's probably the prime example right now. Action 3 in this strategy specifically aims to fast-track AI into farming, which, remember, employs something like 60% of the population. So we're talking about AI for the fields. Things like soil sensors feeding data, drones predicting pest outbreaks, satellites giving drought warnings, and we see real examples like Kenyan apps that let farmers spot crop diseases just using their phone. That makes the policy instantly useful.
Right, and that single farmer with their phone, that really shows the difference between just theory and actual economic reality. And the potential impact numbers are pretty staggering here. They're projecting that this kind of tech integration could boost crop yields by maybe 20, even 30%, which could add, potentially $1 trillion to the agri-food GDP by 2030.
Exactly. And beyond the harvest itself, those governance levers are key too. Action 6, for instance, is about tackling data colonialism by creating shared computing resources and open data sets. And Action 8 is all about the skills revolution crucial for upskilling Africa's massive youth population to handle automation.
Okay, so let's do a status check. We're talking late 2025 now. Where are things really at? It sounds like maybe patchwork progress.
It is progressing, definitely, but
Yeah,
the challenges are still immense. We've got about 15 national strategies up and running. Kenya's focusing hard on ethics. Nigeria launched its NCR Center. South Africa's setting up guardrails. But Africa still only has around 3% of the world's AI experts. That talent gap is very real.
And I imagine trying to harmonize the regulatory side must be, a nightmare.
It absolutely is. You're looking at coordinating across, 46 different existing data protection laws and something like 34 separate agencies across the continent. They're loosely connected by the Malabo Convention. That's the AU's framework for cybersecurity and data protection. But getting all those laws, all those agencies on the same page and attracting the needed funding and expertise, that's where the success really hinges.
Right. That coordination piece across the AU itself, the regional economic communities, the individual member states that take serious commitment, and frankly, guts. The strategy's ultimate aim, then, is kind of making AI Africa's diplomat.
That's a good way to put it. It's about shaping global norms, using soft power, using multilateralism, not just, reacting to standards being set in Silicon Valley or Beijing. And this really raises a fascinating question for you, the listener. If global AI governance is still sort of up for grabs, still being defined, what fundamental role should core African values, like Ubuntu, actually play in shaping those worldwide ethical and technical rules? It's something to think about.